Hey, good afternoon, everybody. Happy Thursday. It's Thursday and it's during your lunch break. I hope I caught you on your lunch break. And I want to take some time to welcome you to our Rush Week. Now, let me tell you, we did not get a chance to get on here yesterday, and I was like boo sad about it. But nevertheless, we are here. It's Rush Week, and we want to welcome you to one of our other Rush Week lives where we get to chat about all of the good stuff that's happening over here at the ReFresh Institute. We want you to be a part of it. So let me know where you're tuning in from. Hey, Nichelle, all the way from South Carolina, and Tamika, blessings to you. We're super excited for those of you in YouTube land. Thank you so much for tuning in. Facebook on our Psalmist, Raine, ReFresh Team music page. Thank you for hanging out with us. And on our ReFresh Globals page. Thank you guys for just coming and hanging out with us today. And of course, I think I put my personal page on here too. But wherever you are, take the time to like and share. Like and share. Hey, Designer Cares. Oh, I love that. I love that. Shalom. Thank you for tuning in today. So glad you're able to catch us while we're live here in the midst of our Rush Week. As you guys been knowing, if you've been following us and been a part of our Rush Week, we have literally been talking about all of the courses and everything that is happening throughout this scholastic academic year for you. It's to empower you and it's to refresh you. It's to cultivate you. Hey, Megan. Hey, Nina from New Jersey. Hey, Boss Lady Katrina, all the way from Little Rock. Good to see you. Hey, Ariane. Hey, Terrence Chower, good to see you. God bless you all. Thank you for just coming and hanging out with us today. We've been talking all week long about the courses, the certification programming, and the courses that are happening at the ReFresh Institute for this 2020-2021 scholastic year. I think Monday I gave an overview of the Institute as a whole. As you guys, for those of you who just catching us, who hasn't been with us all week, the ReFresh Institute is a dual arts academy. And so we have our Creative Arts Academy and our Worship Arts Academy. And those two entities, I believe, those two academies is designed to empower you, to cultivate you, to prepare you, to launch you, to sharpen you, to literally allow you to be a voice and a message, not only just for the Lord, but also a voice, a message of encouragement, of inspiration, of just wellness, of love, of all of the above, all that you can think of. We want to take your creative skill, the things that make you different, and we want to sharpen that tool. Hey, Kevin, good to see you. We want to sharpen that tool. We want to empower you in that tool and all of the above. So we talked about the Institute as a whole. We also talked about our songwriting course on Monday. That was phenomenal. I have the awesome pleasure of teaching our songwriter course. On Tuesday, we dived into music theory and vocal classes with our own instructor, Janelle LeBlanc. And she dived into some of the things that she's going to talk about, some of the things that we're going to be progressing in the years to come. That was fun and it was a blast. And so today we get to chat with our instructor, Tamia Polk, as she talks about drawing. And this is why we wanted to get into drawing. Anybody knows the ReFresh Institute been hosting creative arts classes since 2016. And we've been empowering youth. We've been empowering adults. There are some things adults feel like, hey, I don't know, I was very interested about, just didn't have the time, or just didn't dive into it. You know, you've had your parents that said, you know, you can pick one thing you're going to be a part of. And oftentimes they try to throw you into sports, especially for the guys. They try to throw you into sports like basketball, football leagues, baseball leagues. My brother was a part of all of those. And then the girls, we ended up either having to cheerlead or finding something else to do. The great thing for me was my thing was always about the arts, centered around the arts. So I was able to be a part of band. I was able to be a part of choirs. I was able to be a part of just anything that had to do with vocals, was able to travel and things of that nature. But one of the things that I saw was very unique was that a lot of my peers around me during that time loved to draw. If they couldn't say a word, if they couldn't write an essay, if they didn't feel like writing an essay, and if they definitely didn't feel like journaling, they would always take the time to draw their expressions, to draw what they feel, to make a note or by way of imagery of how they felt. Sometimes it's just hard to explain in words. And there are many people that don't like to talk in front of people. You know how public speaking was one of the courses in college you had to take. Who wants to take public speaking? I had to take public speaking, but nevertheless, there are those who don't want to talk, but they will, use imagery, they will use pictures, they will use different things to express how they feel. One of the great phenomenal things about the art is that you can use your art to just release the message. And in our case, for those of us that are believers, it is the message of the Lord, especially during this very unique time that we're in. Every decade, every generation, going all the way back to time even began, you had art that told us the stories and the testimonies of civilizations, of different groups. I was thinking about it, the Mayans. We wouldn't even know about the Mayans unless they had art of some sort. We wouldn't even know. Theories going around and saying that they just up and disappeared out of nowhere. We wouldn't know. We wouldn't know about Pompeii. Did I say that right? I think I did. We wouldn't know about Pompeii had there not been any type of articles or art that demonstrate. Did I say it right? No, I didn't. Pompeii. I said Pompeii. Anywho, we wouldn't know these things about history unless it was actually unless there was some type of art or article that was left from that time. One of the things I remember telling everybody is archive. But archiving is not just writing down. Archiving is not just recording an album. Archiving is also by way of drawing, also by way of pictures, also by way of so many different things. And so it's really important, those of us in this hour and season, if we cannot say a word, if we cannot write a word, we might want to learn how to draw. We might want to do that. We might want to figure out how to just take this image in our brain. If we can't explain it, we can always draw it out. I know a lot of times in worship, I give people opportunities to literally draw or journal, especially in those Selah moments. I literally ask them a lot, hey, what do you see? And it's hard to articulate by way of words, but to be able to draw, to have that skill, to be sharpened in that skill is one thing that is super duper phenomenal. And so the Institute, we used to have courses in painting. We're going to get back to painting in the following year, but what we want to tap into right now is drawing. And so I'm super excited to introduce to you our instructor for our drawing course. It's a 1-year certification program. And our drawing course, I would love. And I see many and more of you coming on here. So let me know where you're coming in from so we can tap into you. But if you don't know it by now, we are in our rush week. So I'm super excited to introduce to you our instructor for our drawing course in for this scholastic year, and her name is Miss Tamia Polk. Woo! I told you, I wish I had this thing. We're super excited to have you, Tamia.
I'm excited to be here.
Hey, Sharon from Memphis. She's excited, but she's nervous.
That's true. That's very true.
But she is one who is extremely gifted in just art as a whole. This girl is multi-talented in many different things. Poetry. Oh man, I'm not even downstairs. Downstairs, she hey Danielle from New York, good to see you. I saw you register too, so thank you. We're so excited to have you. Scholastic year. But I wish I had the painting that you drew for me. Last year, you were at our ReFresh Summit last year, and she came in and I had just posted out some new pictures that I took from a photo shoot. Mm-hmm. And she came and she was like, I just made this for you. And I was like, oh, well, thank you. I didn't even know her like that then.
That's true.
She presented this picture and it was like to the T. To the T. Like, I was like, this girl is pretty dope. But you think a lot of artists spend a lot of their time making art, when in reality, she's an educator by nature and by vocation. So her job is she educates, and she does a lot with youth. She's a part of our ReFresh Global community family team, and she's a part of the ReFresh Kids component. But not only that, with her being what she is in her history, and even the grace that was released from her father, and let's say maybe even the bloodline before it, it's on them to communicate messages by way of art. So, Tamia, I want to give you a few minutes to introduce yourself, tell about your history in drawing and all the above, and then we're going to get to our scholastic trivia.
Okay. All right. So, hey guys, my name's Tamia. As Psalmist said, I've been drawing since I was 12. I've been drawing. I would just literally get home from school, and I used to have this binder where I would like look at things and I would like just draw them, and I kept it in this binder, and it was like my own personal portfolio. So I've really been drawing like for a long time. It's not something that was taught to me. It was something that I kind of just did. I've always been like creative. I would always like have like a bunch of markers and crayons and color pencils and paper, and I would just go for it. Like I would just draw what I saw. And I would like look up different pictures or look up like my favorite shows to see which cartoon characters I want to draw. And that was really how I got started, and it just got better as I kept drawing. My dad does draw. I remember my favorite picture that he drew was a Superman picture, and it's like so detailed. It's so dope. And I love that picture. I remember when I was younger, it would be like on the wall in my parents' room, and I was like, wow, that's dope. And then I later learned that he actually drew it. So I was like, oh, that's where I get drawing from. That makes sense. So I really enjoy drawing. It's my favorite pastime. I do it like I even have recently started doing it like virtually, like through my iPad. So I'm always trying to look for different ways to learn how to draw, to improve my drawing. I use it as a release, as therapy of some sort. So like I will draw like when I feel frustrated, or even when I'm happy, I'll draw things. And then it's also recently become what God, how I say what God has shown me. So there was this one time in Memphis, I was with the ReFresh team, and we were in worship, and it was just like this vivid image. And Psalmist Raine was like, y'all take out y'all journals. If you draw, if you write, like whatever it is that you do, I need y'all to do it now. So I took out my journal because I write too. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna write. And it was like, no, like it was this vivid image and I had to draw it. So I started carrying a drawing journal with me and not just my writing journal. And I actually drew out what God was showing me in that moment. And I still have that drawing to this day, and it perfectly explains what was happening in that moment and what God was saying to me. And I've showed it to others, and it's ministered to them as well. So drawing can be used for a lot of things. It's not just, a basic skill or thing that you was kind of forced to do in school or anything like that. Like it really has a purpose, and it's been very purposeful in my life.
Yeah, so like it's pretty dope. I think that one of the things that we started getting into painters and stuff in worship, in our worship homes, but we have not really tapped into just drawers, like people that will actually draw or give people the space during worship to be able to articulate what God has said. Do you find it a lot? I know, because I know you're a writer too. So do you find it a lot easier to draw or to write?
Generally I would say drawing, only because I'm better with images. So like what I see, I can understand it better versus like if I just hear it, then I'm like writing it down. But generally it's like drawing, but it also kind of depends on like what is happening in that moment. So like if God is showing me something, then I'm gonna draw what I see, or I'll like write it out and describe it with words the best way I can. But then I'll go back and draw it because it's like I can see it. Like I have to put down what I see, and when you do it in words, it's nowhere near as like
you can miss words, skip words.
Like you forget the words. You be like, what came next? If you draw it and you have like all the details in that drawing, it makes a really big difference.
Yeah. Hey, Moses from Rochester, New York. So glad to have you with us. One of the things I do understand and know is that, like I said before, like a lot of times drawings, writing sometimes get lost amongst the shuffle. It's lost in translation. It's lost in the understanding of people have. But if you draw it, a lot of times we know, like even reading the Bible, like they try to describe different things, and immediately the seers begin to see. And those of us that have sight spiritually, we begin to see what God is really saying, and it has really transformed people's lives and allowed them to be able to translate God's messages to those all around the world, especially for those of you that say, hey, I'm a visual learner.
Yep.
You know, I know so many visual learners, yet they don't dream. There's a disconnect there. There's so many visual learners, yet they don't take the time, even in the word. Like they disconnect at churches, or maybe even it's easier to do live stream. It's easier to watch church virtually because there's a disconnect in how we're understanding the messages of God, and we don't know it outside of emotion. But if we are able to present an artistic way to release the message of the Lord, bless this Christine from Louisiana, if we are able in artistic ways to release the message of the Lord by way of drawing, for those especially that are visual learners, you know, then we need to do that. So here's the deal. How many, like, I wonder if there's a church that just holds services with visuals.
That would be dope. Like, I would really enjoy that.
A lot of people probably go to that church.
Yeah, that sounds fun.
Yeah, I mean, and just to know God in that manner. God was extremely detailed in how he wanted various structures to be set up and made. But what about a church setting or a local assembly that's designed just for visual learners? But in order for us to do that, there has to be more artists that are raised up in this hour, more drawers that are raised up in this hour. And so to me, you play, no pressure, a very important part in people being equipped and cultivated to literally release the message of the Lord for the visual learner. I think that's maybe some of the disconnect when it comes down to our progression in God. When I hear people talking, it might be like blah, 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 blah. When I hear people sing, it may be a little better. But if I can see the message of the Lord, then my life is completely impacted. I understand. And then there is no disconnect in the spirit because I get it now. I get it. Yeah. And one of the things I want to like kind of bridge through the Institute, we want to bridge all gaps. Mm-hmm. We don't want anything to hinder you from receiving, especially in this day and hour. There are so many things happening, and you could actually miss a lot of things that God will have you to do because there's so many things that are happening going on. And so we're super excited to offer this class. There is more to this class than just learning how to draw. There's more to this class than that. So you're going to add something?
I just wanted to add that like recently I've been seeing more. Mm-hmm. So the fact that I draw has been helpful because it's like, okay, so hearing God's voice is one thing, right? But seeing what God is saying is another thing. Yeah. So as I've been learning, it's more vivid when I see it, and it's like, okay, God, that makes sense. Right. And sometimes when he says things, I'm like,
you start thinking too much, like,
you mean like this or that? Because that word got two meanings. Then I gotta go look it up, and it's like a whole, situation. Yeah. But I'm kind of getting into the routine of like saying, okay, God, show me, like, because I know that if I see it, then it's clearer for me. So like drawing and visual is very important for me, like very important.
So what I'm saying is that we've been sent as a solution to that bridge, especially when it comes down to people. I cannot tell you how many people feel bad for being a visual learner. I can't tell you. And there is nothing about feeling bad in that capacity. Only if you're blind and you can't really see. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not talking about on a natural sense, I'm talking about spiritually. When you're blind spiritually and you can't really articulate, or it's not enough to just have knowledge if you can't break down what it means or what it stands for, or what it understands. So we want to bridge that gap of all of these things. But before we go there and dive more into what the course is all about, we want to get in ready to do. I said get in ready. We want to get ready. Yes, I do too. I feel the compassion of the Lord. Designer Care says, I'm feeling the glory. And here's the thing. I'm feeling the compassion of the Lord for those that are not able to understand what God is saying, because their language to understand is through visions. It's through visual expressions. And so I really feel that very strongly. Like God is really wanting to bridge that gap, and no longer we will have to feel bad because you're a visual learner, but a lot of churches may not have a lot of visuals, especially through the preached word. We don't have, through worship, we have painters and all these type of people drawing and painting during worship what God is saying. But what about the preached word? You know, what about what God is speaking to you in that personal time and space? There's nothing wrong with being able to take a pencil and a sketchbook and just measure out, draw out, articulate what God is saying. So we're getting ready to go into our scholastic trivia. I'm super excited because I have a drawing fun fact for everybody, y'all. Yay! So this is our ReFresh Scholastic Trivia. During our ReFresh Rush Week, every course that we're talking about, we got a fun fact for you to try to figure it out. Are you ready?
Ready.
All right, let's go. Here's a drawing trivia. How long did it actually take for Leonardo da Vinci to paint Mona Lisa's lips? You ready? I'm gonna give y'all a few Jeopardy seconds. Post it in the comments. Take it up. Ari gonna say, "Well, can I use Google?" No,
that's cheating.
It's called cheating. Let us know. How long do you think? Just take a wild guess. Throw the answers out there. How long did it take Leonardo da Vinci to paint Mona Lisa's lips? How long? Just throw a number out there. All you prophets, tap in.
See?
Mona says 2 days. Nina said, I have an art and design background, but was never great at drawing. I am more of an abstract drawer. And what's coming to me right now is to draw what I see. Absolutely. I would love to be able to draw the images out. Oh, that'd be beautiful. To me, it's absolutely perfect in activating that for you. Nina says 45 days. Claire said 2 days.
I'm going to just say 2. just 2. I don't know if it was hours, days, weeks, minutes, seconds.
Months.
Yeah, just 2.
I'm going to throw a guess and say 3 years. All right. Are you guys ready for this answer? Y'all, let me tell you, I was blown away when I found out this fun fact. And I'll tell you why. All right, y'all ready? It took Leonardo da Vinci a whopping 12 whole years.
For just the lips?
For just the lips.
Wow. Talk about detailed. Jesus.
Moses said, "Can I change my address?" What that mean? I don't understand what that means. Yeah, a whopping 12 years, y'all. 12 whole years. Some people say 10 to 12 years. Megan, people saying 4 years. 12 years just for the lips.
Wow.
Like,
That's a long time.
but look at her lips, y'all. Look at her lips.
I mean, they are very detailed.
Really?
Like, slightly very detailed, but I feel like some of that had to do with like him getting a visual of it and trying to put it on the canvas. That's because 12 years.
12 years just for the lips. I mean, I can see my lips. You know, my lips kind of big. All right, I'll get that.
Same. Yeah, it's not. I don't know. 12 years. I feel like he took breaks and paused and
He had to go to bed.
Like just 12 years for the lips. That don't even sound right.
It did. You can go Google search it. Google search it.
I'm gonna look that up.
10 years, up to 12 years just for the lips. Y'all, her lips are too small for that. I don't get it. I don't understand.
That's a long time for some lips.
It's a long time for some lips. I'm not saying that you guys are going to be taking 12 years to draw what God is saying.
We're not taking 12 years.
No, we're not doing that. Not for 12 years. But I do want to, that is a long time. I do want to let you guys know, though, that drawing does take a level of patience. It allows you to be able to just rest and relax. And the whole thing about the ReFresh Institute is that even in the midst of us empowering and sharpening you, we still want to refresh you.
Yep.
We still want it to be some sort of oasis for you. And so a lot of times you may be able to tap into something like a vision or something that you have. And a lot of times we can just do squares and circles and shapes and all of the above. But what about the message of the Lord? What is it that the Lord is saying, especially for this day and hour? What is it that the Lord is saying unto us so that we will truly know that this is where God will have us to go during this time and season? But it takes some patience. It does. It takes some patience. To me, yeah, you talk about I know you actually do some drawings for people, like for their bathrooms, and you've done all types of stuff. Like, she's done wall art. Have you wall art for your computer? What else type of art you done did?
Let me see. I do drawings. I do paintings. I do letters, like decorative letters.
Oh yeah.
Those right there.
Oh yeah, in the back behind you.
Yeah. I do those. Recently I've done a laptop cover. I've actually painted some of my own phone cases. I'll paint anything. I'll draw on anything. Like, as long as it's like, I'll switch the type of paint or the type of utensil I used to draw, and I'll just go for it. I don't care what it is. I've drawn on t-shirts.
Jackets, the ReFresh jackets you had.
Yep. Jean jackets. Just like literally I will draw or paint on anything.
It's a mantle on your family's life, because a lot of us are not drawers. A lot of us are not painters. I can barely draw a straight line. Like, so therefore I squiggle like everything. All of my lines is like a squiggle. And people think that, oh, that's just something cute she did. No, that's because if I draw a straight line, I'm going in a slant. And it's not going to be straight at all, nevertheless.
That's funny.
Yeah, so I do a lot of squiggles. Like, even my squares, my rectangles, they all go on a slant. Like, so.
You drawing parallelograms.
Oh, absolutely. Moving everything over. Then I try to do a little 2D, 3D type of vibe. But that's only because it was slanted in the first place. It's not because it was straight.
But you know what? You could use that though.
I do.
Abstract, like you just make the best of it, because in all honest, I mean, I could draw a straight line, but like I had to. It takes effort, like a lot of effort and patience to draw. Like there's a lot of times where I have gotten frustrated, and I'm like, I'm just take a break and I'm gonna come back to it, because you want it to look a certain way, but it doesn't always come out that way at first, or you have to keep practicing at it, or something like that. So I learned to, and I also do like abstract art. I used to just like start drawing lines and shapes on paper, and I just keep adding to it and adding to it until I cover the whole piece of paper. Wow. So like I also love abstract art. Like, though I love drawing, I love abstract too, because even though it might not have like a definitive figure or shape to it, so to speak, it still has meaning to it. Right. Like I can look at some of my abstract drawings and be like, oh, I was feeling this way when I did this, or where I was here when I did this, like, so it brings back memories, or it has like a feeling that was behind it. So I think that abstract, we can't just throw it out the window, but we could teach like foundations of drawing and things like that. But I still think it's really important for like abstract, and for like your like how you originally start drawing is still important, because you can still use it as you get more skilled.
Yeah, for sure. So let's dive into your courses. To me, it is working on a 10-month course, like all of the other courses at the Institute is 10 months as a whole. Okay, Nina. Oh, wow. Awesome. Yeah, that'll be amazing. So here's the deal. We all of our courses are a 10-month course, and those, I know we have some youth and some adults that are just looking into to just use this as an expressive way, especially during this time with COVID. There are a lot of people that are dreaming now more than ever, and they need to release this message to so many different people. And not only that, what we do today is for generations that is coming up behind us. This is not just for a momentary thing. There are people that are coming up behind you that you may never get to meet, that need to see God's message through you today. And so in order for that to be the case, taking some time to archive it by way of drawing is also just another way to just release the message of the Lord and to remind people of God's truth in and through that time. And so that is what we're doing. Let's dive into some of the things that you're going to cover in your course, starting in just a few weeks.
Yeah. So I'm going to cover shapes, dimensions, 2D, 3D, what those look like, the different shapes, because there's a lot more shapes than what they teach you starting off. I'm going to talk about like symmetry, asymmetry, why it's important, imperfection, abstract art, the history of drawing, the history of art, color theory, the psychology of color. Like, just, I'm actually shocked at how much I'm going to teach, because I was like, how good. Like, yeah, they should know that. So all these things I'm really like excited to teach. And then I'm also going to allow time for everyone to freestyle, so to speak. Mm-hmm. So like, we'll have like in-class activities where you draw what you see, because that's pretty much the easiest way to learn how to draw, is you look at it, you go for it. So drawing what you see activities, but also just allowing everyone to get comfortable like with their own hand, get comfortable with hand control, with dexterity, movement, things like that. So all of these things I'll be teaching. I'll also be talking about imperfections and patience in art and drawing, and why it's very, 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 very important to be patient with yourself when drawing, because if you're not patient, it can be discouraging if you don't have any patience with yourself, if you're not, calm, if you're not like just going with the flow kind of thing. So if you get overwhelmed and things like that, it'll stifle your creativity.
Yeah. The other thing I wanted to just add here, you guys, is that Tamia has a degree in psychology, and she's going currently for her master's, right? Your master's in psychology as well. So her knowing art and art as a therapy, anybody knows about, mental health and all the above, art is a therapy that they use, cognitive art therapy, to help people cope with some of the things that they may be dealing with, some of the anxieties, the fears, and to also help them to communicate what they're feeling and how they're feeling as it pertains to that. So, pulling on your psychology background, what have you learned, or what do you see is the benefits to people just learning how to draw, whether they have like their heart is for drawing or not? Like, what is it that is a benefit like to other people during this time for this course or for this drawing, this art?
So drawing, like you said, is a therapy. Literally, there's a thing called art therapy, and they use it. They use it for adults as well, but it's mostly used with children. And that's because they don't have the language to communicate how they feel. They don't have the language to, flat out tell you what may have happened to them, or, how their understanding of it. They don't know how to communicate that. So they'll use drawings and then ask the right questions about those drawings to get insight on how they feel, what may have happened, things like that. And I'm actually doing a project on this in my master's program, talking about expressive therapies. So, and one of my major ones is art therapy, because though it's very helpful for children, I think it would be helpful for adults as well. Because adults we grow up and we tend to feel like we have to grow out of creativity. And that's a lie.
I mean, well, take us to church. Why don't you? The Revelation. Why don't you?
Like, you
literally, that's so like so important. Why do adults feel like we have to grow out of creativity? Like why do you because if you're creative, you're not serious? Is that, I know that was like one of the major things. Like if you're too creative, or you're not serious, and being an adult is serious.
It's childish. Like you're a kid, and it's a lie. Like, first of all, we were made to be creative. Let's start there. But just, you have to be creative to get through life. Like, it's a problem solving skill. It helps you get through situations when you're learning things, because you have to learn how to make different solutions for different problems. So like, all of these things in art or drawing can be applied to real life, in a sense. And my creativity is, I want to say, one of the biggest things that I'm grateful for, like, from God, because if I wasn't creative, honestly, I feel like my life would be dull and boring. Like, it just wouldn't be fun.
I would really need some help, some mental health and assistance.
Listen, for real, because I love being creative, and it's not just in drawing, it's not just in writing, it's not just in painting, but I'm creative in like how I think, I'm creative in how I dress, I'm creative in how I style myself, or how I comment on things like my opinion. Everything about me is creative, and that makes a big deal. And it's important to be creative. Like, God uses that to his fullest extent.
Absolutely.
And I've had to learn that. Like,
really, look at the world and look at all of the animals around. Look at the different, I don't even know what you call it. Look at the fishes and all of the different kinds of fish, types of fish there are, and how creative they are. Some are like glow in the dark. I'm using this as an expression of connecting them with creativity. Some of them have so many different colors, spots, and God himself is so particularly detailed about everything. And so we need drawers, because drawers, like for the rest of us, we will bypass some of the smallest details that will make the big difference in the message. But drawers, on the other hand, will take the time to actually do it. I want to tap into Nina's comment. One of the comments she said the psychology of color is important. I teach in a high school, and they decided to paint all the walls in the hall red. I get the worst headaches and get dizzy when I walk the halls. No one ever researched color theory. So,
this is big.
yeah, let's talk about that.
This is big. So, color, it invokes emotion. It invokes feelings. So, for example, if you look up like calming colors, you'll see like soft blues and soft greens. You might see like a lavender-ish kind of color, or like pinks. So lighter colors invoke lighter moods, or more calming moods. But when you have colors like red, that would probably irritate me.
Yeah.
If I walk down like just a pure red hallway. It's like, why? It's like seeing red in real life. Like, it's the reality of seeing red. And so it invokes that emotion, and it makes a big difference. I work with preschool, and we had to, my second year, we had to like repaint our classrooms and things like that. And so we chose colors that would be calming but fun for a preschooler. Like, you have to think about those things, especially when you work with kids. Like, I wouldn't have painted a school hallway red, especially a high school, because it is a color that invokes strong emotion, which can tend to be a negative strong emotion. I would do like softer colors, like blue. Like, blue is a very it's considered a very calming color. So like blue is
ReFresh colors.
yes, ReFresh. Like, and I love the ReFresh global logo. Like, I really do, and it has to do with the blues. Like, the
Let's look at it. Hold on, let me look at it. Let me pull it up.
Yeah.
We keep talking. I'm pulling it up though.
Okay. Yeah, like, colors are just, they make a difference in how you feel. And blue is a very common color. Yellow is another bright color. It invokes like fun and activity and things like that. So colors make a big difference, and I'm gonna talk about a lot of that in my class. So register.
Because I really do believe it's very, 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 very important for you to be intentional. A lot of people, and I talk about this in worship all the time, but the same goes for art and those of us that are called to release the message of the Lord by way of art. I think it's really important that we don't just stumble upon our creativity, but that God can be intentional with us about what he causes us to create or to produce in any set moment, hour of the time. And so I think that's one of the things that we miss is being intentional in our art. We have to be intentional in our songs, intentional in what we write and why we write it, especially if we're writing from a metaphorical perspective. And the same goes for drawing and art. A lot of things are extremely like metaphors. There are a lot of like different things in there, prophetic meanings behind the surface stuff. And in order for God to be able to trust you, you got to be very intentional about what you're doing and why you're doing it. And it may be, you may not be able to write, I felt this way, but using something that will symbolize that level of emotion will actually be able to articulate God's heart and God's message to the world, again, without any type of blockages whatsoever. And so I know many people stumble upon drawing. They stumble upon art as a way to kind of get off their, mind or whatever. They just stumble upon it. But we want to empower people to be intentional about the message that they're releasing to people that will encourage, inspire, refresh them, empower them, that will give them strength in the time where they're weak. Maybe they won't read the Bible, but they will look at art. Maybe the art is centered around a scripture that they can actually articulate God's message through that. Have you done that before? And I'm gonna actually post one of our information so that you can see how to learn more. Go ahead, Tamia.
Okay. So that has happened. So I'm use Memphis again as an example.
Yeah.
A lot happened in Memphis.
Yeah.
So the image that I saw, I can describe it, and I could send it to you to post just so people could see.
Yeah.
It was this is why drawing is important. See how I'm struggling. But it was this image. It was pretty much God reaching out to me. His hand was reaching out to me, and it was kind of like he was welcoming me in to him. He was welcoming me to his love, to his protection, all of those things, to his peace. And it was like I saw a trail leading up to God's hand, and there were clouds, and it was the sky. His hand was coming out of the sky. What made a difference was the color of the sky. So the clouds in the sky were pure white, and the sky itself was baby blue. To give you a description. So it was very bright. It was very peaceful. Like, I'm safe here. Kind of feel to it. So it really made a difference that I saw those colors, because it wasn't a dark sky. It wasn't, anything like that. It was really bright. And I really saw God's peace, for lack of a better description. It was God's peace that I saw through the sky and through him welcoming me. So that really made a big difference on how I received that message. It could have invoked a different response if I had saw a cloudy sky, or if I had saw a dark sky, or a stormy sky, something like that. It would have made a really big difference, and those colors would be different. It would be like dull. It would be gray. It wouldn't be bright, so it definitely offered a different emotion for me, to have seen a bright sky instead of, like storm clouds or something like that. It was bright and it was welcoming, like, come on, let's go, kind of thing.
Yeah, like, put on a happy face.
Yeah.
So I'm ready to show the RG logo so that you guys can get a chance to see it, and we can, I guess, dissect. Also, we can dissect the colors. Look, look, it's we can dissect the colors. Look, just in case you have to go and you have to run, you can learn more about the Institute and all of our courses at refreshglobalnfp.org. And if you have questions about admissions or even about our tuition and payment options, all of the email addresses for our faculty and staff is on our website. So you go to refreshglobalnfp.org, go to the menu button and click the Refresh Institute. Anywhere you see the Refresh Institute, that is the pages and the information for the Dual Arts Academy. But I want to show you guys really quick this RG logo. You may see it in the top right hand corner over here, but I wanted to kind of just bring it out here for you. And I just pulled it up from our Google Drive. And so tell me about like what you see as a creative, from a drawing perspective. Tell me about what do you see with all of these different colors.
Okay, so the first thing I noticed is the blue, the lighter blue that's right in the middle of the R, is the first blue that kind of stands out to me, because it's a calming color. It signifies refreshing. Let's start there. So this color definitely, it signifies like calm, being refreshed, things like that. And then the rest is kind of like it's global. So you see like the different types of blues and how it blends together and things like that. But then I also kind of think about water, in a sense. So like an oasis, a safe place, things like that. And all of this is coming from this one picture, like these colors from this one picture. And it just, it's great.
Let me ask you this. Do the darker blues intimidate or scare you in the picture?
No, they don't. The darker blues, though it's dark, it kind of makes me it's kind of like there are places in the world that are not as bright as others. So that's kind of what I think of. So it's not like I'm intimidated by it, but it's like we gotta go and lighten them up, kind of thing.
Got you. Also, dark colors like that. If anybody has been on the ocean, it gets darker the deeper you go in. And
True.
so I thought it was very unique that from the top of the logo, it's deep.
Yep.
Like, okay, so like I like stuff like this. If anybody knows anything about me, I like seeing beyond the surface. So the top of it is deep. Also, if you look a little bit in between like the little scripts that's underneath it, you see pictures of like the world, the globe, you see the continents here. I don't know if you can see my you probably can't see my thing. Here you go. Right here, you see the continents here, you see the world in it, but then you also get to see the depth of the waters, the depth of the ocean. But overarching all of this is still that refreshing that keeps you safe, covered, surrounded, just all of the above. Hey, Jeffrey, good to see you. Was there anything else that you saw? And even amongst the words as a whole, there's a difference between the shades of colors and things of that nature. So, like, is there anything else that you wanted to just share or that comes out or sparks you when you see the logo?
Um,
What about you guys on Facebook? I know Nina is tapping in, she's diving in, but there are more people on here than Nina. So let's see. What do you see from all of these colors? It's depth and it's grounding.
Oh, that's deep.
Ain't it deep? It's depth and it's grounding. That's actually really dope too.
Yeah. It. Wow.
Go ahead to me and preach. Don't
like.
Go ahead. Put on your prophetic antennas and just go.
Just it's. I really just, because we're talking about it being grounded in depths. It's pretty much just being grounded in God. No matter how deep He wants to take you. It's just as simple as that. Like in the water, and just being grounded in God, no matter how deep He takes you, because it might be deep, but He's who's gonna ground you.
Now that's that. Now. If somebody would get a message off of that, that's the word of the Lord. Especially when, hi Jeanette, especially when there's so many people that are hearing all of these messages about these are the things that are coming up, these are the things that are happening, these are the things that God is getting ready to do. Just to know that you're grounded in spite of what's happening is what refreshes you. And it gives you the stamina that you need to keep going, to keep pressing. I like the black background because you get to see more of the details in the blues. And of course, like the water bubbles and stuff like that, but you get to see more of the depths on the inside of it, and things of that nature. But it's really dope to be able to connect with other artists that has to, they must, it's such a mandate. If you don't know right now, it is such a mandate, guys, to truly empower people and equip people so that the messages of the Lord can be released in and through our lives, and so we can get it.
Yeah.
That's the key thing. God wants us to get it. He doesn't want us to be lost in the shuffle of things. He wants us to get it. Y'all can go put that on there. Say He wants you to get it. He wants us to get it. This is what He wants us to do. He wants us to get it. He doesn't want us to be like, oh, well, I don't understand what that means. So, I don't know what that is. He doesn't want you to be like that. He wants you to actually understand it. He wants you to get it. He wants you to know it. There are people all around the world that have yet to hear. Like there are tribes that have yet to hear that there is a such thing called a Bible.
Yeah.
And they use not only their own language, but also pictures to assist in articulation. to be able to connect the dots. Some of you are going all across the nation and the world, and maybe you may not be able to articulate in words to people what is needed, but you can draw it out. And so if you want to be a part of this class and this course, because the semester starts August 17th.
Yep.
And the classes start on the week of August 24th, but your classes are on Saturdays. She's hosting classes for both the youth and the adults.
Yep.
So you do not don't feel like, oh, I got to be with kids. No, and it's virtual. It's on site. And so thank God for technology, because now we can use different tools to be able to connect with one another, and not only that, may be able to articulate God's message to one another in your class. They may not know you from Adam's wings going to the left or to the right. However, they will know you. They will know the word of the Lord and what God is saying unto you and unto the world, period. And it doesn't have to be all biblical. It doesn't have to be all biblical. A lot of us, we live our lives for the Lord. So our messages to people from the Lord can simply be, I love you. And you can just take that completely on. Yes, Nina, the classes are virtual.
Yep.
The classes are virtual, so you do not have to be on site. You do not have to be on site to be a part of these classes. You can go, your children can be a part of this. Give them something else to use to be able to communicate. It's going to really, really, really help. Oh, hey, Curtis. Good to see you. The logo, water is refreshing. He is living water, and we are forever refreshed. I love that. That eternal circle that is never broken, that is always connected. There you go. We are forever refreshed. And there's so many prophetic messages you can get. Like, y'all.
Yeah.
Like I said, whenever we're worshiping, I definitely include a time strategically in there with intention for the creative to awaken and to release the messages of the Lord. It's like in those moments, God is talking. And so don't ignore what he's saying. No, archive what he is saying so that a generation that's coming, I believe it's in Deuteronomy 7, he says, write it on your tablet, write it across the doorpost, put it on your walls, put it on your doorknob. He says, so that this could be a conversation that is had and that the generations coming up will know that I am God. They will remember the testimonies and they will know that I am God. In Deuteronomy 7 chapter, actually, it says it multiple times in Deuteronomy 6 and Deuteronomy chapter 7, where the Lord gives them specific instructions to write whatever he has said, the testimony of the Lord, write it, archive it all across your homes. Let it be something that you conversate about at dinner time. Like, and I'm paraphrasing, but that is what he said. Talk about it at the table. Talk about it at dinner. Talk about it with your children and your children's children, and those coming up behind you will know what the Lord is saying unto you. How can you do that unless a drawer? The scripture tells us our faith comes by hearing the word of the Lord, and how can they hear unless the preacher is sent? Yeah, but what about a communicator? A preacher is simply one that just communicates the messages of the Lord. What about the drawer? What about the prophet? What about the creative? What about them? What about them? I don't know who's gonna run with it, but I gave the idea of having a local assembly that was just all with drawing. And having a church service that's just drawing. That'd be so interesting. Music, people praying and drawing. Like,
that would be fun.
That would be so dope.
It sounds fun. I want to go. Somebody do it so I could go.
Okay, well, look, we got to create that just for the drawers, for drawers only, for artists only. Like, we have to do that. I wouldn't mind hosting an event like that at all. Like, that would be dope. Look, I'll be drawing with my squiggly lines.
Draw with your squiggly, Psalmist.
I'm gonna be drawing. So look, if there is not a local assembly like that, we'll create a space for drawers like that, because we still need to know the word of the Lord for such a time as this. So if you want to know more about drawing, if you want to know about what all of the classes, like, that would absolutely be dope. If you want to know about all of the classes, if you want to know about all the things that is happening through the ReFresh Institute. Now, this particular course is under the Creative Arts Academy. Yes, Curtis.
That's good.
plus art is artistry.
That's good.
Cool. Yeah, God. You see my lines all the time, Ariana. I just draw squiggly lines because I can't draw a straight line. All you have, Nina? Look, I would absolutely I would host an event monthly like that where it's just open music, we praying, and people are drawing, and then we're posting the drawings around the walls. Of course, you get to take it home, but of course, we get to post it around the walls, and then you go back, seek the Lord, and then just draw. Like that would be
so amazing. Like, so we got to do it now.
Absolutely, I'm for it.
It's been announced.
We can do it at the Seekers Gathering. If you don't know, guys, we're having the Seekers Gathering coming up on the 15th of August.
I'm excited.
Yeah, that'll be dope. That'll be dope to me. I don't know how many other drawers will be present, but if you are a drawer and you're coming to the Seekers Gathering or you're going to be with us virtually online, make sure you have your sketchbook, make sure you have your pencils and stuff ready to receive the messages of the Lord by way of vision. I'm super excited. But most importantly, if you want to, in order for you to be on site at the Seekers Gathering, you got to RSVP though, because we can only have a limited amount of people present. But if you want to learn more about the Institute and all of the courses through our Dual Arts Academy, you can do so by checking us out on our website at www.refreshglobalnfp.org. You can check out our Academy's catalog, learn more information about all the courses that are readily available for you, tuition payment prices, and all of the above. These courses are certification programs, and so you get to build your drawer's portfolio through this course and all of the above. So I want you to know that there is not one person that will be lost, not one creative, not one worshiper that will be lost. Even if you have a unique expression of worship, not one will be lost. There is a space for you in the earth, and the people are ready for you. So Tamia, we want to thank you so much for just standing on the front line, empowering drawers and developing those that will continue to release the message of the Lord, and then using it as a way to refresh people.
It's my pleasure.
What more can we say?
I don't know.
Pretty dope, but I think God just gave you language for your life.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did.
He did.
So we look forward to seeing you in class during the ReFresh Institute. So go register, go enroll. Our admissions advocate she's been going through, we've getting a lot of enrollments. So she's been going through, getting everybody processed. Our billing department is ready. They're getting everybody processed and ready before classes start. Thank you so much, Curtis. And every one of you guys that are on here, Nina, Carice, Moses was on here earlier. I don't know if he's still on here. Who else was on here? Designer, Carice. DePaulo Speaks DePaulo off of YouTube. Thank you so much, Jeanette. Thank you guys for hanging out with us today. We love to have conversations about what we're doing. I think it's really important for you guys to see that there are people here that are rooting for you, not only to empower you, not only to sharpen you, but most importantly, to refresh your life. So we look forward to seeing you in class tomorrow. We're back for our Rush Week on tomorrow. We're back for our Rush Week. You get to learn more about some more music instrumental classes that we have coming up, such as piano. I think piano is tomorrow. No, percussion is tomorrow. What's today? Today's Thursday. Today is Thursday. So we get to talk about piano and as well as drums and percussions on tomorrow. Preferably we get to talk about drums and percussions on tomorrow. And then on Saturday, we get to dive into our Worship Arts Academy a little more. So I want you guys to meet us right here, same time. Well, same time tomorrow, I think. Yeah, same time tomorrow. Same place. We're going to be right here chatting more about all that is in store for you here at the ReFresh Institute. We love you guys so much. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you so much, Tamia.
You're welcome. It was my pleasure. I had fun.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. That's all you need to know. This is fun, 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 fun. All right, we love you guys so much. Stay tuned, watch this commercial so you'll learn more about what we're doing to empower destiny, cultivate your skills, build you up, and refresh you and empower you all at the same time. We love you guys so much. Talk to you soon.